Okay, welcome back, Vintage Gamers. I have a preliminary event for you here. I wasn't expecting to stream this or record this, but now I have it up in front of me, and so we're going to do it. Crazy Diamond and I have been looking at different ways to build Atraxa other than the green shells, and we have a really fun one here for you, Esper. We started with an Esper Saga list, and Saga was just so bad in the list. I know Saga's so good, but it was so bad. I swear. I promise you, I'm not lying. But so we still have a Tinker Esper shell here, just without Saga. Instead of Saga, we get to play like an extra island and a strip mine, which is really nice. I am still playing Vault Key even without Saga because I think it's a great way to make sure that our Atraxa wins us the game. Atraxa obviously doesn't win the game on the spot. It's a kind of a value-oriented card. So being able to find two ways to take turns with Time Walk and then obviously Time Vault Key, I think ups your chance of Atraxa winning you the game. With this full big blue shell, we are adding in Tinker. Obviously, this is not the best Citadel deck. This Citadel deck has some very high costs, and Show and Tell is not a great one to hit. However, hitting Atraxa off of Citadel not the worst. You'll pay 7 life and get a big body plus your Atraxa through time. So so far the Citadel has actually tested fine. It also is nice as it's an additional Show and Tell target. You can Show and Tell a Citadel in. It's pretty okay. We wanted to play Esper so that we could play Teferis, which helped us set up our combo in a very meaningful way. And what the cool inclusion that Crazy had recently was a Displacer Kitten. Displacer Kitten obviously works really well with Atraxa in that it blinks Atraxa and you get a million. You basically just draw your deck. But it also is already comboing with Teferi and Moxen to make mana and draw your cards as well. Yeah, so the rest of this is just like, restricted Esper cards, Show and Tell, and in the sideboard, I changed it up a little bit. I put the ley lines back in. I think ley lines is just too good to avoid. We have some additional Show and Tell targets that are also Tinker targets in Sphinx of the Steelwind and Portal to Phyrexia. Not to do Phyrexia, but just Phyrexia. So that way we actually have a variety of Tinker targets, but they all are also Show and Tell targets. So I actually really like the idea of Sphinx and Portal here. Additional combo cards, additional shops card, at least have a Hercules Recall. Tons of Swords to Plowshares because mono white is good enough that you need to respect it. A needle, a basic planes that we can search up for matchups where we want to have white mana, mostly the ones where you're casting Swords to Plowshares, and of course our Tabernacle. So hopefully this prelim will go well. I don't know if on the Saturday following this video I will play Oath Atraxa or Oath Omni Atraxa or Esper Atraxa, but one of those I'll definitely play in a Vintage Challenge coming up in the near future. I'll see you then. If you'd like to see your deck played on this channel, check out the Patreon link in the description below where you can find all the information you need to submit a donation deck list. Let's battle. Okay, here we go. Round 1 of a Vintage Prelim. We're playing the Esper Atraxa deck. Here I'm pretty close to doing Displacer Kitten combos. Obviously, Lotus and Sol Ring are not the ones that do it. Having a Mox to flicker our Teferi over and over again to give us infinite mana and draw. That would be the one we're looking for. But we have Brainstorm. The problem here is opponent is typically on a Bazaar deck. I think this hand still had a power level that we're going to keep, though. Yep, it's Bazaar. Let's see which kind of Bazaar they opted for this weekend. If you're subscribed to my Patreon at the $5 level, you typically get a weekly metagame suggestions, recommendations. Squee had an unbelievable last weekend to the point where I think it might even be time for a resurgence in aggro Bazaar. Things like Hogak Vine, Cradle Vine. Those decks just farm Squee. So something to think about maybe is maybe opponent has chosen to go Dredge or aggro Bazaar instead of their normal Squee / control Bazaar. We'll have to see. It was a really interesting set of data from the last weekend where the dominant decks were Squee and Jeskai and 4-color Deathrite Shaman. So all of the decks that really prey on combo. All right, so we've got a Squee, a Vengevine, and a Rootwalla. Do we have a hollow one as well? No hollow one. That's probably why they were thinking a lot. So they're going to start gaining card advantage with their Squee. offsetting this Bazaar, and maybe be able to return Vengevine. That is got to be the single best card in my entire deck. Sometimes lucky. I'm going to play into all of the nonsense here. Let's just lead with Brainstorm. Maybe not, actually. Maybe we just lead with Teferi. So if I were to go... Well, I can't play Teferi this turn if I want to strip mine. So I could just play a Displacer Kitten, which is not a terrible idea. It is a little... I think I'm going to lead with... So if I Brainstorm, I technically can't play Displacer Kitten. But this flash is bad. But... yeah, I think I'm just going to get this Displacer Kitten in play. Oh, they have Mental Misstep. In that case, let's Brainstorm in response. Show and Tell and Force, and nothing to flash or show and tell, which is kind of awkward. Kind of makes me want to just force the Mental Misstep. Still don't know where I'm progressing towards, but the problem with forcing the Mental Misstep now is that I can't play the Displacer Kitten this turn anyways. So kind of no point in doing that. Okay, unless I missed something here. I kind of am a little distracted right now, but I think we'll be able to pull off. All right, so we're going to hope they don't have a Noxious. Even if they do have a Noxious, we do have a Force. The good news is if they don't have another way to activate a Bazaar, then we should buy us a bunch of time. If they have a second Bazaar in their hand, I doubt they would keep a second Bazaar in their hand if they had one, because we typically aren't on a deck that... I typically don't play Wasteland decks. This deck wasn't able to put a Strip Mine in, though. All right, so... I'm pretty far away from doing anything, and I'm obviously super susceptible to Wastelands, but my opponent is not clocking me, and they basically are drawing towards third or second Bazaar or first Noxious. All right, well, now we are out of our Brainstorm lock. We have some things happening here, but not a lot of things. We just don't have a lot of mana. This deck does have a lot of mana sources in it. It's got 15 lands and then all of the Moxen plus Mana Crypt and Soul Ring. My opponent will probably end up here with quite a few counter spells, though. Obviously, if they have another Root Walla, they could pitch that to hand size here, but a better play is maybe pitching Squee to hand size. If you can get 2 Squees to hand size, then you could pitch 2 Root Wallas at end of turn and return Vengevine. Looking for any mana source. Can't seem to find the additional mana source. We have had Lotus, Soul Ring, Strip Mine, Tundra in already, so... It's like, will we find a mana source before my opponent finds another Wasteland? Or returns this Vengevine? See what happens here. Double Root Wall is obviously the worst outcome. Squee is a bad outcome. Squee anything else is fine. See what they do. Of course, it's double Root Walla. No one could have seen this coming. That's fairly unlikely and very, very good for them. I did hit our land finally, though. So we're going to Demonic, and we're going to look for... pretty sure I'm just going to force back here. I'm just never going to have an opportunity to use Flash, right? I'll just pitch this Displacer Kitten. Why do we need... We don't need a Displacer Kitten. What do I need, though? Do we just Atraxa and we go for Flash or Show and Tell? That seems like the best option. Because I don't have... I mean, I could get Mana Crypt, but I just don't have a payoff. So let's just grab an Atraxa. And if we can get that in play, we'll be in a great spot anyways. So if we can't get it in play, we can at least flash it and give us a chance. We did draw it. All right, well... I think we just have to show and tell and hope our opponent does not have an additional piece of counter magic here. I guess I could technically cast a fairy. I could technically flash, but the problem is it doesn't really think, I don't think that really helps us here. So I think we just cast show and tell and hope they don't have any more counters. They didn't activate Bazaar at all, so it's definitely possible. They could have Snapback, of course. They could have a hollow one. Yeah. All right. So I didn't hit a Force of Will, which is really bad for me. I guess I will take Island, Narset, Atraxa, Yogwill, and Negation just doesn't do anything, but I guess we'll take Mental Misstep. So I currently am blocking and taking 4, so I can't cast Mental Misstep right now. I'm just going to get rid of this Teferi. Because my opponent deals 7 damage, I heal 7 damage, and I take 4 damage. So I can't actually misstep right now. And I don't have a spell that stops Snapback or can't beat a Caracas. Noxious on Bazaar, which is a bait for Justin because if I mental misstep this and go to 4, I block here. Oh, no, wait. I block here. Did I do the math wrong? I block here and I take 7 and gain 7. So I can mental misstep this. Okay, sure. I block 4 damage and I take 7 damage and I gain 7. Yeah, I can just do that. Okay. Would have saved myself life if I had kept negation, but all right, well now I have Flusterstorm up, so I can't imagine we can lose from here. I guess the best play is just to cast Yogwill. I could balance, but I lose all my lands, so. I did some really bad. Oh, I just put Narset in play instead of Yogwill. Okay. Maybe I'll get a Force here, and that'll be lock her up. I did hit a Mana Crypt. I could Mana Crypt and cast Yogwill. I'll take the Mana Crypt, but I'm not going to play it. I'm just going to hold up this Flusterstorm. I meant to play Yogwill, but I just misclicked. This is probably not bad either. It means they can't top deck Bazaar or something. Sorry, I'm like really, really out of it. But we'll get there. We'll get there. I'm just not very focused today. Okay. So my opponent is on Squee, and we have a sideboard that is very good against Squee. We have ley lines, and we have a basic plains, and a tabernacle, and a needle. I think I'm going to take the portal and the Sphinx as well. And maybe this Flusterstorm, and maybe these swords. I don't know. I kind of want to get rid of these cards that are hard to utilize or don't do anything. Citadel. Yogwill. I like Flash and Balance. I like Strip Mine. Don't need Top. We definitely don't need Vault Key here. That's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to just play one big large creature and win. I guess we can take out Mystical. I like Vampiric a lot. Let's just take out Flash. And then let's take out Mental Misstep. And let's take out... You almost take out Force. Like, how many blue cards are we even going to have? We also don't need this many swords, probably. I don't really think swords is the angle you fight on. I don't hate having swords, though. So this ends up with 1, 2, 10, 17, 20. I mean, it's still fine. Like, Teferi's not great in this matchup, but it's not bad either. So let's try this. I don't know. There could be a way to get some more swords in here, but I'm not exactly sure how. So I have a strip mine and a needle. I just have to keep this. Bizarre go. Interesting. All right, well, show me what you have. Force, Master, Squee, Hollow one. All right, well, let's just strip mine this. My one strip mine coming in super clutch. All right, so my opponent pitched Squee, Master, Hollow one, kept negation. That makes sense. We'll see if they've hit Noxious and have another blue card for Force. They don't. All right, so now my opponent has Squee, Master, Force of Negation. Still, we'll see if they top deck another Bazaar. They did not. Okay. I don't think we're going to show yet. I think I'm just going to Time Walk. Maybe I don't want to Time Walk. Maybe I want to keep my blue card for Force. Showing a portal here is just not good enough, probably. Just one hollow one. Okay. Maybe we will still show a portal next turn. It just brings back a hollow one, and then if they ever put other cards in their graveyard, we can bring them back as well. Maybe that's fine. We do know my opponent has a Force of Negation here. We don't want to do is get hit by Vigor and Negation, which looks like what's about to happen. That's quite bad for us, actually. Okay. I think I'm still supposed to utilize my mana. All right, I'm just gonna do it. Am I gonna do it? Maybe I can bait them into putting a creature in play with this show and tell as well. Got him. All right, well, we'll see what this does for us. I don't know if that's going to be good enough, but I wanted to do it, so we're doing it. At least we're going to always get something here, but I guess if they have a Vigor again, then they would be able to get my Hollow one and my Portal off of it. I do have to race my own Mana Crypt, which is sometimes frightening. Well, I can actually pump this Root Walla. That's kind of exciting, too. All right. That's actually a very good card. Is this going to stop a lot of the bad things that could happen to me from this point of the game? Like Vigor? I'm kind of lagging. I don't know why. I'm lagging like crazy. I'm going to have to make sure I restart after this. Hope my VOD doesn't lag at all. Oh. I already... I'm sorry, chat. I clicked through damage again, so I missed my plus. Don't think that'll end up mattering very much as it's still a 2-turn clock, but... What I maybe should have done is played Black Lotus and held open Vampiric Tutor. I don't know. I'm actually just bad at Magic. Really distracted. I'm going to try between rounds here to finish up all the other stuff that is putting me off playing ideal Magic here. Sorry about that. We'll try to clean it up. All right, no blocks. Pump my Root Walla. Still fine, as the Root Walla will be lethal. I'm not even gonna vamp. I just have double Fluster. It's basically impossible for my opponent to do anything here. What they can do is draw Bazaar, and then they could maybe play some creatures. That might do it, but GG's. All right, yeah, like I said, I played really bad. I'm sorry about that, chat. I'm gonna try to pull together, finish up some other things that are going on in my life, and then we'll come back for round 2. All right, we're back for round 2. I got all those things done. I got the intro done. I got a video posted. I think we're good. I think we're good to go. We're up against Wingtasar. Hopefully not too much more bizarre, but pretty highly likely. My opponent is another bizarre player. I do have a strip mine, but even with a strip mine, this hand is probably not good enough. Uh, he's just got such a sense of humor. All right, I'm gonna just mulligan this hand. Sorry. Yeah, this is something I'm interested in. Turn 1 Tinker, check with Probe. It's got all the markings of a great Justin hand. Maybe I'm supposed to get rid of Show and Tell. It's kind of nice to have Show and Tell, though. If I draw like an Atraxa, I can go Show and Tell on turn 1 instead of Tinker, and then Tinker on turn 2. Lots of options here. Opponent is mulligan into 4 cards, so we are playing against another bizarre opponent. These prelims do very heavily feature bizarre and mono white players. Hank, mono white, bizarre, Doomsday, bizarre. You know, that's kind of something that happens. These are usually pretty challenging events, even either they're small events. It's 4 rounds versus, usually 11 either format experts or grinders. So I like them. I think they could still use a little bit more on the EV side, but all right. My opponent has kept a 4-card hand and did not play a bizarre, which means they very likely kept a hand with multiple pieces of counter magic. Let's go take a peek. And oh, it's oops all spells. So they have a negation. Interesting. So which of these plans is most likely to get me to beat a Pact of Negation oops all spells hand here? I think the answer is Tinker. I could obviously cast Ancestral, but I think we'll just Tinker. If I can hit a blue mana, probably it's pretty hard, I guess, in this deck because it's only Sapphire and Lotus. Then we could have Ancestral. We are going to need like multiple pieces of counter magic to beat a Pact of Negation. We just hit Brick off the top, so that's not a good start. So my opponent is looking for what? They are looking for... Are they still looking for multiple pieces? I'm trying to figure out if there's a 1-card kill here that could happen. I don't think so. Here's a Petal. An Emerald. Oh, here comes Demonic. So they have 1 unknown card, their best card in their deck, and a negation. Okay, I didn't think there was a 1 card that could kill us here. Hopefully we can draw some cards that are good. Force and Ancestral is probably good enough to keep and pass with. All right, drawing a Force is fine. Certainly okay with that. Second Force. Okay. I think this is all still fine. All right, Island, we'll play that. Time Walk, we'll play that. Top, we'll play that. They're going to force top. That's fine. I don't think that matters too much. Time Vault, we'll play that. We're definitely going to draw this misstep. Maybe we don't need to draw this misstep. Let's crack. This Teferi should win the game as well. Or this Teferi. Can't see us losing from this point. Oh, now we actually just went infinite, so... All right, we actually have an infinite win here. We actually have infinite soldiers for our time walk as well. And we didn't even show them show and tell. Perfect. Nice little displacer kitten win. I mean, I guess it's really a Citadel win, but... All right, so they're on Oops All spells. Picking up a game 1 win there is really crucial. I'm glad I didn't keep my Strip Mine hand. We are going to bring in Leyline, of course. We're going to bring in Needle for Charbelcher. We'll bring in Negation and Flusterstorm. Anything else necessary here? No, not really. I don't know if I really need a Strip Mine. And I can probably take out an additional island as well. I don't know if Show and Tell is too greedy. I don't need a balance. Probably don't need a flash. I just wonder if Show and Tell is too greedy. Like, we could die to Show and Tell. My opponent. I have to think about this. We don't have to Show and Tell. We could theoretically board out some of this. What if we just board out Show and Tell? I feel like that would be too hard, huh? I guess I can board out some of it. Probably still better than Kitten, though. Kitten just seems a little slow. Maybe we'll try this. I don't know if this is a good idea or not. Immediately draw double Atraxa. All right, we're going to mulligan this hand. Yeah, I got to keep that one for sure. So they kept a 7-card hand. All right, double Mox. And a land. And Cabal Ritual, which I cannot mental misstep. I could have negated it. Maybe I was supposed to negate it because my opponent could have played another thing. I was probably supposed to negate that. Oh, I got pacted. Okay. So, I mean, I was supposed to just negate the Cabal Therapy. What was I doing? Cabal Ritual. What was I doing? I do need to draw exactly Needle here. Okay. Let's just, I want to see their deck configuration. I guess I wasn't able to shake off the bad plays here. Maybe they accidentally boarded in Urza Saga. What do we see? We're seeing multiple Charbelchers. They're on the play, so they kept the negations. There's a misdirection I see. Okay, cool. Yeah, this is fine. We'll just run it back. I guess it's better to have 4 shows than Atraxas. It's a blue card, and I still have Citadel, so I guess Mentor is worse. I feel like I boarded so badly and played so badly. All right, I'm gonna Leyline hand. I mean, it's kind of hard to not play that hand. Hopefully they mull and then they go all in on something and I just give them business. Oh, they kept 7. It's not great for me. I am the control deck in the matchup, for what it's worth. I gotta see if I can be a little bit more disciplined on what spells I counter, though, here. Definitely should have negated the Cabal Ritual in case my opponent played a creature. Chrome Mox. That's allowable. 2 for 1. Spy. We will snap misstep anything, I think. Okay, Black Lotus. Maybe we'll be able to get them with a Pact of Negation win as well, where I counter their thing, they pact my thing, and then I counter their thing again. That could happen. Black, Dark Ritual. Just gonna snap off a misstep on that. Doesn't hurt us really, and could be hurting them. Hard to say. All right, that's it from them. All right, that's it from us. This could also have been a bait, but like I said, I don't think I have a lot of luxury there. I think it's better to just use it. All right, here is 3 mana for an Undercity Informer. I will force the Undercity Informer, pitching a Teferi. Will you pact? No pact. Mana Crypt. Mana Vault, sorry. Yeah, that's fine. Definitely fine. Leyline of the Void. Not a good draw there. Definitely would have rather had another blue card. You have a fourth payoff. I think what I'll do here is negate this, pitching Time Walk. If they pact me, then I can force the Charbelcher. Oh. Soul Ring. That at least gives me a top deck fetch land, play a Leyline. Not that that should be necessary here. I can't see myself losing after my opponent has played the spells they've played already. And like losing on this turn, I should say. I guess they could theoretically have multiple Dark Rituals again. Dark Ritual or something. All right, so I think my draw fetch land would be nice. Okay, so then let's play a Leyline. Off my double Underground Sea. That should narrow down some of the things that can kill me here. We do need to find a payoff, but... Yeah, see, I'm like super scared of show and telling an Atraxa against like maybe a Charbelcher or something, right? Something I'm concerned about. If we can get through this turn, should be in an okay spot with Fluster. My opponent keeping 7 was really rough here because we had such a powerful anti-combo hand. Okay, so this gives us both, or no, this gives us hardcast 1 or 2. So we do need another mana to get hardcast both. I'm really concerned. Really concerned. I need a payoff. That's a good draw. Gives them access to blue mana. Still don't think I'm supposed to force it, though. I think I can only force payoffs. And if they go Dark Ritual, Charbelcher, so bad for me if they have counter backup, which they could easily have at this point in the game. I guess I would just Fluster the Dark Ritual. Another Chrome Mox. That puts them down to 3 cards in hand. Archamoeba. Yes. Okay. Ancestral's a great draw. Let's just cast this now. Demonic Tutor. Oh. Okay. I think we just go Tinker. I guess I could just get Needle on Charbelcher. We feel like we're winning this game the longer it goes. We could tinker a Citadel, though. Let's just tinker. Maybe this is going to be one of those situations where I feel like I greeted my way here. I shouldn't have played. Yeah, this is fine. Show. I can't cast that. All right, I've already ruined myself here. I could totally lose here. I could totally lose. Maybe I made a mistake. I could have just gotten Needle. Feels like that was better. I guess I can't cast Charbelcher without another mana source, though. I don't have Fluster anymore, though. So if they have, like, Dark Ritual plus Force backup, Dark Ritual, Win-Con, Force back. Well, I guess I have Leyline. So it would have to be Charbelcher, so we would always get a turn. This is not even a terrible draw. It's going to give me a blue card for Force. Definitely cast Brainstorm. Definitely fine here with this. Let's just put land. All right, I mean, now we can't, I don't think we can lose. If this is 2 spells, we can draw through the Tundra. Yeah, that's fine. All right, now I think we're good. I still don't think I'm not really happy with the way I played this game per se, but all right, that should be good. And I can just force any creature. Does this win the game? I can go Yogwill Tinker. Yeah. All right, wow. Yeah. Okay, we'll continue. Okay, here we go. Round 3 now. Up against Echo Baron. They won't bizarre me, right? These hands are absurd. I have just had like the most insane Mana Crypt Tinker draws in this preliminary event. Just really ridiculous, actually. I would play any deck that could have Mana Crypt and Tinker in its opening hand with a land. Like, doesn't have Force backup, but I mean, I can check it, see if they have Force, and then I still have Ancestral, so it's like, gosh, okay, sure. Show me your secrets. What do you got for me? Oh, you're dead. I mean, they're not dead because this Citadel is very likely to brick, but... All right, Force and pass. We'll misstep their top, and won't force Sapphire, but... Underground Sea. Sapphire. Oh, they're gonna go for Night's Whisper. I think we're just allowing that. I don't think the 5 life off Force of Will is worth it. And I would rather be able to like cast an Atraxa off this. Flash. Kind of want to just draw through Flash. All right, they're off it. Oh, they still don't know we're on Show and Tell, which is nice. The Show and Tell Atraxa has not come up very much in my turn 1 Tinker deck, to be fair. My opponent looks like they're on either some kind of like Blue-Black Saga or Esper Saga or Blue-Black PO. We're going to bring in a Negation and a Flusterstorm. That feels correct to me. And we'll just take out an island. We're keeping Strip Mine because Saga is annoying and I don't have any like Dress Downs or anything in my deck. I don't think it's enough to like keep in balance or anything like that though. So we'll just do island and balance out for Fluster Negation. Yeah, so I guess we're doing pretty well in this prelim, and we haven't played any Atraxas, and that's because we've cast a lot of Tinkers. And I can confirm that casting Tinker is a good thing. Crazy how that works. Of course, we are a Manifold Key deck without Saga. Yeah, I mean, this is a keep. We have a nice answer to Saga. We have a Force of Will against their Tinker draw. I think I'll definitely keep this every time. Nice Whisper. Nice. That's a classic Echo Baron play. We used to really, both of us used to really love playing Night's Whisper PO. I don't think I'm going to strip mine this Underground Sea. I think it's much more important for me to hold this strip mine for Saga Gaming. Definitely feel behind in this game, seeing as my opponent had the very coveted turn 1 Night's Whisper. Also has the best Moxen, which is nice. I don't really have a lot going on here. I at least have some counter magic. If we draw an Atraxa, we can flash it in and get some good value. We draw a Time Vault. It's quite good as well. It's Ancestral. Can't say that it would make sense to counter here, so my opponent just gets a million cards. We drew our own Ancestral. Interesting. We get an Underground Sea. I don't know why I have so many Tundras in this deck. It must be because of the sideboard and the Teferis, but I'm not sure that 3 Tundra, 2 Sea is the right split here. My opponent can be playing Hull Breacher, but I think it's better to play around Flusterstorm than Hull Breacher here. Even if they are on Hull Breacher, I at least have... Oh, okay. I was not expecting the Mystical Dispute, but they got it. They had the Mystical Dispute, so... Very nice. I do think Mystical Dispute has, certainly has applicability in Vintage. I don't hate it. Classic 8-cast sideboard card. Echo Baron, Boomer, who knows all the dark tech. Yeah. That's a lot of cards that they've drawn this game between 2 Night's Whisper and an Ancestral Recall. 8 cards in hand. Alright, well, you know all my secrets. I've got Flash and Displacer Kitten. They're probably like, what the hell's going on? Justin, you tinkered me in game 1 and showed me none of these cards. Well, Andreas, if you had waited it out, let the tinker happen, I would have shown you more cards. Who knows? Maybe we would have even seen Atraxa. All right, looks like they're going to discard to hand size. Again, I think the best draw is just Time Vault. Oh, they are also on Atraxa. Atraxa is in both decks. You'd love to see it. Unfortunately, I can't flash this Citadel, which is something I wouldn't want to do anyways, but... So maybe my opponent saw my 3-1 deck and decided they wanted an Atraxas too. All right, nice Whisper again. Down to 11 health, but 9 cards in hand, so... I can't imagine I ever win this game. My opponent has just really, really murdered me in the terms of cards. My opponent has just drawn so many cards. Which is definitely a way you can win games of Vintage, for sure. They probably have the best 9-card hand you can possibly have at this point, right? Brainstorm. So blue-black. Yeah, I mean, this is probably hitting key just to prevent me from being able to Time Vault kill them. But it could hit Strip Mine if they have a Saga. Okay. They don't have a follow-up Saga, though. 8 cards in hand, still discarding to hand size. I still have a Vault Key Double Force backup, which I'm surprised they're not worried about. I think I am just going to jam this Kitten, though. I don't have Double Force now, but I mean, if they want to resolve something, I'm sure they can fluster their way through me. All right, we got a Force out of this one. I'm okay with that. 5 cards to 4 cards, equal mana-ish. Interesting game. Demonic Tutor. Well, we'll certainly give it a try. We would just go for Time Vault, probably. It's going to be a negation. Yeah, I'm just fine with this happening. I don't think I'm allowed to, like, make that kind of a play there. Mm-hmm. Pass. All right. I'm not feeling as bad about this game as I was before. I think I'm going to go for... Well, they still have hard cast force. Yeah, I'm going to go for an upkeep flash. If they want to fluster, I can pay. If they want a hard cast force, I can force back. Though I might just not. It's a hard cast force. So it's a hard cast mind break trap. Okay. I feel like eventually we have a situation where we get something in here. Ponder. Yeah, that seems fine. Atraxa negation fluster. That just doesn't feel like what we want to be doing. I don't really like this. Jet. So I'm almost at Citadel. One more black mana. Fetch land would do it. The good news is if they are also on Show and Tell, we have Atraxa and Citadel. Oh, they have a key. Oh, maybe that's why they didn't want to name key. All right, they're on to 4 cards. I think my best draw now is just to fetch land and just slam a Bolas' Citadel. It's not a bad one. Double force now. They haven't drawn a Saga, which has been very lucky for us. We would lose to a Saga basically immediately in this game. All right, now they can hard cast Atraxa. Blue, black. Oh, they can't actually. They don't have white or green. They only have one color off Lotus. Interesting. On color Moxen hurting. 4 cards in hand. Again, if they show and tell, we probably just show and tell on Atraxa and it's fine. They have Cruise in this deck. Is that what they're tapping 1 blue for? Pretty quite good. No. So me, fetch, Pearl. All right. So I don't have double black. If I had like a mana crypt, maybe I could use my jet to make double black. I do have green, black, white, though. I'm actually 1 mana from Atraxa as well. So I'm 1 black mana from Citadel. I am 1 any color mana from Atraxa. Opponent has 5 cards in hand. I have 3 forces in hand. Very interesting game of Magic here. I still don't think we're favored, but it's getting a lot closer. A Vamp. Vamp is bad. Vamp does get us to the place we need to be, but still think it's bad. Maybe an end of turn Vamp for... oh, they have their own flash. I think I will just go... hard cast force on this. Oh, I tapped the wrong... Fucking... Justin's so bad at this game. I guess I can untap my jet and it's fine. So they are going to fight over this. I'm just representing that I don't have Vamp, you know? I think I don't want them to resolve an Atraxa here. I guess they can 1 mana from paying for it. I mean, if they're going to fluster over it, I think we should just force back. All right, they have double fluster. Okay. I mean, I kind of felt like that could be the case, why I didn't really fight over anything else. I can't imagine we win this game if they're going to put an Atraxa into play here. But we didn't really have any suitable options. I could have chosen not to hard cast force, was obviously the choice I could have made. I don't think that's a good choice, though. See what they hit. All they need to do is hit Time Vault, which they did. They hit Time Vault. So they are playing basically the same deck as me. They saw Flash, so they should know what we're up to now. But I can't beat a Time Vault, so this is okay. We just were a little late. I think if we had drawn Vamp a turn earlier and step Vamped for a Time Vault, we might have won that game. I wonder if we should play Portal. Kind of think I might play Portal here. I think I'm just gonna drop this kitten. All right, so we're playing kind of a mirror match, except I don't know if I saw Tinker Citadel on their side. I certainly like Tinker Citadel still. They are playing Saga, which we dropped from our build. They are look like they are playing blue-black with a bunch of Night's Whispers, which is definitely a departure from my build. I just hated the Saga. Like, Saga's so cool with Atraxa being a land and an enchantment, but I just hated Saga so much in my deck, so... could not re-register it. So there's obviously tons of risk now to casting Show and Tell. I guess we technically... Did we see a Show and Tell from their side? I guess we technically didn't see a Show and Tell from their side. So they might not have Show and Tell. That could definitely be true. I think this is a keep with Flash. Flash as an engine looks so good in this deck. We can just Flash Atraxa, and then we can Show and Tell Atraxa if we want. We can see what they have in their hand first. Do need to hit mana, obviously, but our deck has got a lot of mana sources, so... Okay, we didn't hit mana, and their hand is 4 restricted cards plus Saga. So it's very likely we just force their Ancestral... Oh god, we might even have to force Time Walk because of Saga here. Oh, they didn't go for Saga Walk? Interesting. Why would you not go for Saga Walk here? I would just slam Black Lotus, Ancestral, Saga Walk. Saga Walk looks great. Maybe they're just trying to find Flusterstorm. I have to let this one go. So they have 2 unknowns at this point. It's really rough for us. Their hand is just a bit more powerful than ours. If we hit some mana, we have some plays though. Yeah, I'm just gonna force this. I'm gonna pitch Show and Tell. Okay. Saga Gaming, Black Lotus, I assume. Oh, Time Vault. All right, well, the clock is on. I need to hit a land right now. Moxen is great as well. So unlucky, man. Yeah. I think if we hit mana, we'd be okay. We would flash an Atraxa and then go for our Vault Key and win. But I have 1 turn again. And if my opponent has drawn a Fluster or a Force, we lose. So it's really not much to be done here. I don't even think it's correct for me to Mystical. I think I just try to hit a land or a Moxen. I hit a fucking... Wow. I just lost because I could not hit a Moxen or land in my top 3. It's kind of sad, but not much to say here. Like, I just needed to hit these cards. Very unlucky. My opponent also drew the top deck Time Vault too, which was super bad for me. I'm pretty sure like Mysticaling for Ancestral is worse. We hit a Moxen and we go Flash. We can hit land and Moxen. We can... it's just so much... There's so much things that we can do. Super unfortunate. No, that's magic. All right, here we go. Now it's the 4th and final round of this prelim. We obviously got vanquished last round, but I would like to go 3-1 with this deck. I think this deck has the power to do so. Oh boy. This is a bit of a risky adventure here with lots of colorful mana. Not colorful mana, lots of colorless mana. And the 1 Brainstorm to rule them all. If we get locked on this Brainstorm, things could go really badly, but I'm pretty sure that's a risk I'm willing to take. We have a lot of possible draws that are quite good for us. Any land, obviously. We even have some colorless draws, so I'm down to Brainstorm here and see how bad this goes. Okay, it didn't go badly. We hit a land. I'm gonna just put back Soul Ring, Show and Tell. Show and Tell might be better than Time Vault. It's a blue card, and I can draw Atraxa. Yeah, let's just put back Soul Ring, Time Vault, and then we'll crack a fetch for a blue source and slam a Teferi. think we're gonna go for basic. No, we'll go underground sea. It's fine, I think. Obviously, it's weak to a wasteland, but I think that's okay. The way our hand is currently set up, if we get wastelanded, I'm not super unhappy. I don't think I'm going to be using my Teferi as a minus right now. It's a really... So if my opponent is on a Pyroblast deck, that's the place where I get punished. But if my opponent is on any other kind of deck, being able to hold open an activation of -3 is really important. So like if they're on Mono White or Oath or anything where there's a permanent that needs to be dealt with, it makes sense. And I don't really have a follow-up play that is I'm going to be able to really do anyways. I could obviously bounce Sapphire and draw a 1 or 2 mana blue spell, but that kind of just feels a little narrow and not worth it. If I didn't have a show and tell, oh, interesting. Noxious Revival and Vigor. So some kind of Bazaar deck again. So it's going to be our 3rd round of Bazaar. We've been playing against Bazaar a lot on stream, and it's been very unfortunate. But if this resolves, I am going to minus. And the reason is because of Vengevine. I don't want to I don't want my Teferi to not have utilized its cycle. So yeah, I'm just gonna get these in play, and they can't vigor me at the moment. So all right, well, I don't really have a lot going on, unfortunately. I did a brainstorm, which was, I mean, my brainstorm worked really well. I obviously would like a brainstorm to have hit, you know, some more action-oriented spell, but hitting a fetch land and an on-color Moxen and everything, that seems perfectly acceptable brainstorm. Looking for one of my 4 Atraxas or... Okay, so I did get punished on the Wasteland. I did draw my Jet, which makes me look a little silly, obviously. I think my opponent, you know, they could still be aggro Vine or control Vine, so we'll have to see which one they end up being. The good news is with a Teferi out, they can't cast Blazing or any kind of Root Wallas, which will make it hard for them to bring back a Vengevine, right? Oh, so I guess maybe I was wrong and I should have just kept plussing my Teferi then. I didn't really consider that. All right. I mean, they can find double hollow one, or they can hard cast if they are on Agrovine. Looks like they're on Squee, though. Which means these cards are not very good. Yeah, they're on Squee. All right, there's their first Squee effect. They have a master. Okay. Land. Island's a good draw. I don't have a follow-up here. I don't know if it's worth it to play a new Teferi. It could be. My opponent did pitch negation, but they could have like... they could have like another Vigor or something. I think it's just better to plus my Teferi here. Yeah, I mean, we're moving towards a really strong spot in this game. Atraxa draws are super strong right now. Obviously, the more my opponent gets squeezed, the better off they are. They still have a huge number of cards in hand. Should be like 5 because they've only cast 1 Vigor. So this Root Walla, they shouldn't be able to cast due to Teferi, which is great for us. I don't know if they knew that. Here's Master of Death still. So I don't think this pause kind of makes me feel like they didn't know that they could not cast their Root Walla here. Obviously, we're still not that good against Hollow One, but here's the Hollow One. Yeah, so I would think they didn't know that the Teferi stopped the Root Walla, which I forgot about. So can't really expect them to remember as well. Looking for an Atraxa. No Atraxa. We're going to bounce this because I don't really want my Teferi to die. We do another show and tell. Okay. Well, I am going to play a new Teferi. Obviously, they could have double Hollow One here, which will put my Teferi to 1 off of the Vengevine, but I think it's better to use my mana now. This will buy me more time as well. I really am just looking for Atraxa. Even a Citadel is fine. If I draw Ace Kitten off the top and they don't have a Vengevine attack my Teferi, that's also going to be good. Kitten is going to be lethal because I'll make infinite black mana and draw my deck. The kitten hasn't looked terrible. I kind of expected very little from the kitten, but the kitten hasn't been horrible. The game is going to start getting harder, though, as my opponent will be able to get a hollow one in play on the next turn that sticks. Okay, there's a master. So they haven't really been losing card advantage because they've had a master every turn. Okay, so this time they are going to really wreck me with a Fury and a hollow one, which will end up killing my Teferi. So I got punished pretty hard for not minusing this Teferi. That's certainly something that could happen. Double Vengevine. Oh, yeah. So we'll find our... If we lose this game, we'll draw one extra card and see if our Teferi minus would have helped us win this game. I pretty much have one draw step, so... Interesting, they attacked Teferi. I guess that saves them from maybe a kitten or something. This doesn't have lethal. They don't have lethal here, so we do get an extra turn. Atraxa, Citadel. Well, if they had done 4 more damage to me, I would be in a lot scarier place here, but let's show and tell. And let's show and tell a Citadel. Well, I hope we can show and tell a Citadel. Even Mindbreak Trap doesn't work here, so there's a chance. All right, fetch land. Force is no good. Fetch land. Probe. Hold priority. Cast probe. Oh, drawing through a blank. They do have a force. Here's a top. A top is good. Time Vault is good. Show and tell is bad. Mox is good. Soul Ring is good. This is bad. Doing this means I can't draw an Atraxa now, but I drew a key. All right. Well, we take those. They probably want to see more of my deck. Totally reasonable from here. Let's do Sapphire. Rainstorm. Show and tell. Traxa. Alright, well now we have lethal, so should get concession from here, I would hope. Cool. Alright. So mostly just been winning with the power of Bolas' Citadel, which I mean certainly a thing. Our opponent could have attacked not Teferi, and we would have had 4 less life to work with, but we still had 6 at the end of that, so it wouldn't have stopped us. Interesting set of things happening. So we're gonna bring in all of the magic cards again. And then we need to figure out all the cards to take out. Definitely don't like Volkey here with Vigors happening. Misstep. What did we take out in round 1? Let's find out. Hey, it's past Justin. Mental Mist. I took out Flash, Mental Misstep, Volky, Mystical. Interesting. Oh, top, because we have no. All right, that makes sense. Okay. So, again, I'm not sure. We might want more swords, but I'm not really sure how we fit them exactly. Here is a Leyline hand that if they don't immediately have Vigor, we have it protected. We have Show and Tell, but not good mana. It's probably still worth playing. It's not the best, but it's certainly, I think, in range. It's really, I think you could conceivably mulligan this hand. I would snap keep this on the play because my opponent wouldn't have a Bizarre activation before my upkeep. Because obviously if they upkeep, kill my Leyline, I can't fluster, right? Though my opponent did mulligan, which makes me more happy to keep a Leyline in hand. Leyline is just really one of the best cards against Squee. Obviously, Squee, Wasteland and Leyline are the two big things you really want. My opponent's deck does function through a Leyline. Like, they have 4 hollow ones and 8 root aulas, which are all free. Certainly functions through a Leyline, but it definitely functions worse. And if they keep a hand that has, like, multiple Squees and not a lot, and like maybe some interaction, then it's quite good for us. Okay, there's that. They kept their next one. I have a Leyline. Let's see what you have. They might not have expected Leyline out of me. The original list I posted with Esper and Sagas had a bunch of one-drop artifacts. I moved to Leyline because I moved away from Saga, and I think Leyline is just a harder hitter, and it doesn't go on the stack. It's just hard to replicate the power of Leyline. So that's why I chose to do this. So they did have a double Root Walla. So there's a clock here. It's a pretty reasonable size clock as well. See if they have a hollow one. If they have a hollow one, then obviously this Leyline did nothing for us, really. They have a Chalice on 0. Quite a good one. Any Vigor? No Vigor. All right. Oh, probably should have still played the fetch land out. But the good news is I have Flusterstorm. So I have Flusterstorm. Another land drop is not bad either. Though it's not a Flooded Strand, so I can't get my Plains. But this Tolarian Academy might have been turned off forever by this Chalice. So we have things to worry about for sure. And the clock is not slow. 1 Root Walla is a slow clock. 2 Root Wallas is a clock. Not a great clock. 10 turns is not something they want to play out, but... Ooh, they're going to go for the activation, looking for more Root Wallas and hollow ones. Interesting. This is card disadvantage, but it is still card selection. We lost a Vengevine and a Squee and a second Bizarre. They did lose their Strip Mine to this original Serum Powder, which is a good reason to play out Island, I guess. Mana Crypt, which I can't play, unfortunately. Mana Crypt, not even that bad here if I could cast it, but I cannot. I may at some point be able to cast Mana Crypt if I Teferi bounce a Chalice. But for that, I would need to draw like a 1-drop artifact or another land. We have time, though. We have time. It's possible that we do go for, like, if we do end up with a 3 mana Teferi, bounce Chalice, play Mana Crypt, that way on the next turn we can show and tell with Flusterstorm back up. My opponent is very likely to end up having some kind of interaction after they activate this Bizarre a few times. Of course, if my opponent finds a hollow one, it's bad. It's notably bad. This is kind of the worry of keeping the hand we did, but I think it was within range on a mulligan and on the draw against this deck. It just makes sense to me. Oh, they found another Root Walla. All right, so now the clock is 7 attacks. Wait, 6 attacks? 6 attacks. 6 times 3 is 18, Justin. Okay. Oh, actually, if I crack a fetch, it's 5 attacks. We did find the Atraxa. So we have a plan. Soul Ring has got to be our best draw. They did end up pitching a negation there. Yeah, Soul Ring is the one. Obviously, we'll take fetch land, or we'll take land or some kind of land as well. Though land casting Teferi is not ideal. Force was pitched. Pass. Is this the Vigor? Nope. Sphinx is not a good draw. This is quite frustrating. Without this Chalice, my opponents would be very dead. But with the Chalice, they are surviving. I don't have a lot of great answers to Chalice. Typically, with the Teferis in the deck, you don't really care too much. I deserve Soul Ring, yeah? I think I deserve Soul Ring. I wonder if I will put Sphinx or Atraxa into play if I have Soul Ring. Notably, Sphinx does not get Caracas. So probably Sphinx. All right, another draw step here. This time they did not activate the Bazaar. It seems they have the things they want. They might have double force. Could be really bad. There's a Black Lotus. Yeah. I think it's just a little sad. I think the Atraxa goes. We just needed to draw slightly different. We didn't take out any lands. We did put in an extra land. Of course, this is one of the obvious downsides to playing a heavy big blue mana base. Chalice of the Void is certainly a powerful magic card. We are running out of time here because we will need to fetch, and my opponent might have multiple pieces of counter magic. There is our land. So I think the only reasonable thing we can do is go for the Teferi first. Just gonna get island, so I can't get wastelanded. So if they have a force, they force this. We can't do much about it. They almost certainly have a force. And then next turn we have a show. We could always draw an additional land, which we could show with Fluster next turn. So, but if this resolves, then it's a very easy bounce Chalice, play Lotus, show and tell. Oh, okay. They were gonna go for Vigor. Sure, that's okay with me. I don't think this game, the graveyard, super matters at this point in the game. I think it's less about that. I would have rather them kept force if they were gonna do that. Maybe they kept force green card, force blue card. It's possible. But if my opponent lets this Teferi resolve and they never had a force, a blue card, I think that's just misidentifying what's the way to play. Okay, so they did have a force. So they had force and force, and that leaves us with nothing. They only have one card, though, and they get one attack in before we cast Show and Tell. So, oh, they didn't end of turn activate. I wonder what that means. I wonder if that means they had another force and they're waiting to see if they top deck a blue card or something. They did pitch Snapback to that Force of Will, which notably would be very good against our Sphinx of the Steel Wind. All right, so they didn't activate again. All right, my best draw is Fetch Land, so I can play Fluster with Show and Tell with Fluster back up. I did draw Fetch Land, Show and Tell. So I drew the lands at the last possible second. And they did have blue card and force. Wow, that's exciting. I wonder if this mana base is correct. Every time I see 3 Tundras, I cry. So they did top deck either the blue card or the force. Actually, they top decked, they pitched force to force. So they had a force and they drew another force. Oh, I actually get to turn on my Tolarian Academy now. All right, I think we're winning now. I think my opponent made a mistake. And the mistake I think my opponent made was going for green card Vigor instead of going for double blue card force. I think that was a pivotal mistake in misidentifying how they could lose the game or how they could win the game. I guess there's something to be said about Tabernacle. But I don't know. Oh, I guess if there's something to be said about Tabernacle, Justin should probably be fetching Underground Sea so that I can top deck Demonic Tutor. I'm bad at Magic, what can I say? Okay. So I can always show and tell a Black Lotus, I guess. But this certainly stabilizes the board for me, and I feel quite good. I'm not going to show and tell Black Lotus. I have a fetch land now for Black Source, and then I can still draw Traxa. So we didn't really get to use very much Atraxa in this prelim, but that's kind of just a function of the games that were played. We had some games where we just had Tinker draws. We had some games where we're not really, we're playing on the back foot because we're the control deck or something like that. So, tis what it is. I think I'm just gonna hold my fetch. Hey, there's the Tabernacle. Why not? So we did have that to draw too the whole game as well. Opponent didn't really have any wastelands. All right. Even if my opponent does snap back my Sphinx, I have a second show and tell. That is a nice upside of these show and tell decks, is that they if you like cheat something into play, like Tinker a Sphinx or something like that, you can always just do it again if they snap it back, which is really, really nice. You can also hard cast this. I mean, we're pretty dang close to hard casting the Sphinx again. Obviously, the chalice stopped us from doing such a thing, but oh, more root wallas. There's the wasteland. I mean, my opponent is like digging to find snapback blue card, but they can't really do that with the amount of cards they have in their thing. It's just a really rough time. It's a bad time to be the opponent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Almost. Oh, yeah, I'm actually almost recasting the Sphinx as well. So I think this is going to be a 3-1 again with this this Esper list. I did 3-1 the Wednesday night prelim with an Esper list that was similar to this, but with sagas. I didn't record that because I was making dinner during it. But that was like after my Wednesday night stream. They needed a 12th person to fire, so got there. So another nice 3-1 with this deck. I don't know. That's not the deck. I don't know if I'm going to play this deck on Saturday. I just don't know what I'm going to play on Saturday. I have 3 viable builds with Atraxa that I'm interested in. I have the Omni Oath. I have the Oath and Tell, which it does not feature Omniscience. And then I have this Esper one as well. I just don't know what I want to do. I like this, though. I think this deck functioned a lot better than the one with the sagas in it. The Strip Mine was obviously clutch. The Displacer Kitten was fine, actually. I'm interested to maybe keep Displacer Kitten as a one-of combo with our 2 Teferis and our Moxen. Doesn't seem unreasonable in any way. I am interested to see Echo Baron's list if it gets published, which it is not going to get published, unfortunately, because they went 2-2. But I would have liked to see that list. Oh, well. More vintage content coming to you every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern. I will see you then.